You know, I think I've always had a love of wood. When I first started doing woodworking, I'd be at a show and I would, see people just, come up to pieces. You had to touch wood. It's got such an incredible tactile quality to it. I just feel like wood is one of those things that affects almost all the senses. I realized very young that I probably didn't possess the kind of skills to work for somebody else or to go work for a company. I wanted to be on my own. I had a sense of living my life a little differently than what was expected. I handed this device to a friend one time to sand, and I literally sent him across the table. I use the word sculpting in the narrowest sense of the word, in terms of just changing the surface. It's not sculpture, it's simply carving, and being able then to finish that carving so that it's as finished as nicely as a wood surface, because oftentimes the flattest surface is the one you want to touch. But this sculpting just enhances the tactile nature of each piece. One of maybe the best parts about building furniture is that there are just some hard and fast rules, and there's really no shortcuts. And you use the kind of joinery that people have been using for centuries because it stays together. And that's really the simple point. It stays together, but it also, it can swell and contract, in the winter and summer, not fall apart. It's going to stay there. So, I use hand-cut dovetails. I use, mortise and tenon, different types of ways of putting wood together, and it makes things last. Essentially, this is, of course, a cabinet that's going to go with the bed. Now, the cabinet's still the raw wood, and so while it doesn't obviously look like that piece, the curly maple panels have all actually come out of the same series of boards that the curly maple on the bed. So when it gets oiled, they're going to look identical. And the only other thing that's difficult about the side cabinets is there's two of them, and I have to make sure I remember that, each one has to have the door opening next to the bed, so it's not to get the doors mixed up and have the client ask me, well, why does one door open this way and the other one opens? So. It's a Japanese saw called Dozuki, and it's what I use for all my dovetails. A Japanese saw cuts on the pull, an English saw cuts on the push. What I find is just I get so much more control over the saw when you can pull it and kind of guide it through. I just take a lot of pleasure from accomplishing a project and pleasure in the clients loving it. I don't have to worry about the phone ringing and it's a client that's angry at me, because I've never had anybody beyond maybe a stuck drawer they might call me about or something. But yeah, it's a really rewarding thing. It's a grueling process to make furniture. It's really hard, and it's, you know, unforgiving if you make mistakes, and costly. So I don't know, it's kind of like anybody that maybe does something, seemingly you think people would get tired of doing the same thing every day, but I don't.